Good evening. How is everybody? I'm gonna start at the top. We're gonna do a few. Carrie, what's up, baby? Thank you for joining us. Honest Crime, Wild Rose, Six Up, Casey K, what's up, baby? Amy, MG, Another Realm, Miss Skilo, how you doing, baby? Michelle Macklin, Verbal Session, Roswell, Brat, Sidekick, Ava Gray, Heather Mack, Victoria Burgess, Archangel, hello. Kaz Pablo, what's up, baby? So, and thank you to everyone that's going to join. Lindsay Rose, hello. Sarah Silva, good to see you. So, Marie Burks, Miss T, what's up, baby? Laced and Chains, Ellie, how you doing, beautiful? Thank you for joining us. Freeside, what's up, buddy? Miss Lila, what's up, baby? Hey, everybody, CJ, everybody's in the house. My dad's on the crew. Hey, Miss Renfro, what's up, baby? Dana B, Val, thank you for joining us, Miss Val. Always lovely to see you. T-Ho, Mookie, Grasshopper, Sandra, Lil Dev, Sally Strange Clouds, A Little B Told Me, NY Mom, Kathy Gordon, CM, Miss Bella Zoe, and so on and so forth. Thank you all for joining me. So, I really was inspired a couple of days ago, watching some of the stuff that homie D man, what's up? Some of the stuff that Six Up has been putting out, right? And I just, I'm not going to tiptoe around it. Like the level of lies that have been put together it is absolutely astounding. Now, I caught some of Six Up today, and I'll be honest with you, it was so direct and to the point that I was just, it really hammered down for me, like who the chief offender is in this community. And I've heard some names thrown around, and I had to ask myself, I did some real soul searching, like Benny, what is the point of doing this? Like what is your goal? What is your aim when you cut through all of the BS and you push things to the side? What is the aim? What is the goal here? And I think it's a two-part deal. One, I want the people that don't understand where this all started to have a full grasp on what it is they're looking at that they don't even understand. It's to be able to identify the animal that hides in front of your face. Okay? Sandra, and it's about money. That's the second part of this deal. I think that it's time for the people who support this mess financially to really be forced to pick a side, because I think that the long-term financiers, they're gone. It's long gone. And I could be wrong. I don't poll the people over there, but it's to open the eyes to the new financiers. Like, you're going to have to pick a side. You're going to have to pick a side. And understanding some of the dynamics that make people pick the sides that they do. There's many things. There's shame, because, and I'm just really quick because my guest is in the back. It's the shame, right? They've picked a side, they were wrong, and they feel like they can't go anywhere else in the community without being identified, because we're so stuck to our names, right? They don't want to pick a new Lily, Sunflower, Sunshine. They don't want to pick a new name, right? They got to be in there with that name. Casey K, thanks so much for your contribution, Queen. You know, it means the world to me. Miss Pearl, she says, What do Ziggy and high school have in common on Christmas Day? No pupils. Thank you for that, Queen. Thank you for that. That's a fact. This isn't necessarily to hurt Ziggy's bottom line. This is so as the people that are dumping money into this thing understand the real world consequences. And then you have the people that are just downright internet terrorists. They don't care. They will continue to finance this problem just because, I don't know, you could break that down into sliver, tributaries. Like maybe they want to see the crash out. They like watching Ziggy Spurg. Whatever the case is, there is a full spectrum of dynamics as to why anyone would continue to finance this thing. Now, that being said, I think with almost an entire certainty, it's become pretty clear that there is some sort of substance situation going on. And I want to preface that in the beginning because it's one of those things, if you know, then you know, right? If you know, you can identify it in other people. And it's become very clear that that a lot of this stuff you're seeing is by virtue of chemical enhancement. Now, I don't know if it's street drugs. I don't know if she's abusing a prescription. I don't know if it's the combo of two, the both. But what I can tell you is that there certainly are some substances on board. Now, Six Up said it the other day, and I'm probably going to butcher it, but essentially it's that her projections of what she says other people are doing are actually her confessions. They're actually her confessions. So that being said, I think it's time to bring on my guest. Now, my guest goes way back. I'm going to ask that there could be some opinions about this guest. That's not what we're here for tonight. Paula McCombs, thank you so much for becoming a member, baby. You know, it means the world to me. We're not here for that. What we're here for is the information that this person has about the situation. Just the same as I can go into other communities and people may not like some of the things I've said or done in the past. That's not what we're doing here tonight. So if you cannot be an adult and you cannot sit in the conversation and absorb the information, this one's not going to be for you. And I'll tell you why. Hey, Wyndham Wims, you will be put out. To be let back in, you're going to have to email me. And I'm going to tell you what, I ain't the best at getting back to emails. So there's the opportunity that you're going to speak off your tongue, get blocked tonight, because it's no, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, moderators, there's zero tolerance. We're here for Ziggy. We're not here for what you think about me or what you think about my guest. We're not here for that. We're here because I've seen a lot of names thrown around in the very recent past, and the names don't include the ones that are actually a part of it as well that fueled this madness. So without further ado, homie, we're going to bring on my special guest. Special guest, thank you for joining us this evening, sir.
How you doing, sir?
Pretty good. I do appreciate you joining me on such short notice. I know everybody's got a life and there's moving pieces all over, but I thank you for joining us tonight. If anyone doesn't recognize that voice, this is Mr. Griff. This is Matt Griffin. Matt, give us just a quick rundown of when you joined the Summer Wells community, just yourself.
Well, it was 2 weeks after she disappeared. I was actually just come across it on video. I can't remember the name of the woman I saw doing the show, but it got my attention, and I went to catch it and reading on it, and then I started putting out. I had a channel, but I started putting out videos, basically my opinions, my theories, my thoughts on the case. But it came clear to me that it was pretty much a YouTube case that not a lot of the nation was listening about it, that it was pretty much just engulfing a lot of the YouTube channels. And I just started seeing a lot of exploitation, a lot of them that was very sincere about the case, and a lot of them that were just throwing throwing lawn darts in the yard. I mean, they were just throwing accusations, hearsay, slander, whatnot. And again, it was a child, and it affected me. I mean, being a parent myself. So it was, like I said, 2 weeks after that. And again, I was putting out videos for a while before, and just was putting out my own commentary because I felt like doing it. It wasn't nothing to try to get to just I didn't have no subscribers. And then out of the blue, a real good friend of ours, I should say, Doug Hutton, no thanks, had decided to promote my channel and have me on. It was about the same time. There was several other channels that came out about the same time I did. They were all based around that. That was our center nucleus, was Summerwell. And then it got to, I mean, of course, you know how it went when it first started. There was a lot of back and forth. It became an instance of, you had sides that was sincere about the child, and you had ones that was basically attacking each other. So you had to deal with all the ramifications of that. But yeah, it was 2 weeks after she came up missing. So
around July 1st, 2021.
Roughly, yeah.
Okay. So you're bebopping around. You're making videos of your own commentary. And somehow, no thanks, he gets a hold of, he becomes enlightened to your channel.
Yeah, he almost like a I want to say like an agent or so Pete. I mean, there's a lot of us that was involved in that. I'm not going to mention any names. Some of them are in the chat now, but they were all susceptible to that too. A lot of us that were up and coming channels and got involved in it, not knowing what we were getting ourselves into. Some of us was basically in tune to it and went along with the process. I myself didn't agree on certain things. I voiced my opinion. I thought I was trying to be as honest as I could. I'm not a perfect person, but
you still there? Oh, did we lose you, Griff? Maybe you lost me. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me, please. I've been moving through the house, and sometimes that messes up. Oopsie. 1. Okay. You guys can hear me.
Can you hear Griff?
Griff, you there, buddy? You may have to go out and come back in.
Here's like we still are today.
Yeah. We lost you there just for a moment, Griff.
Okay. I was just saying, basically.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Basically, the until at that time, I mean, you think about it, between July and September, we all was all grasping at, we all.
We lost you again, Griff. He's gone again. Yeah. Coming into this, we knew that the service where he's at is it's a little bit dicey. So we are going to just work with it the best that we can. I have some media pulled up that we're also going to try to kind of tiptoe through as soon as we can kind of solidify Mr. Griff's connection here. Yeah, Running Bear, he's out. He's in. There he goes. He left. So, yes, Miss Roswell, thank you so much. Thank you for what you do. Until he comes back, what I want to do really quick, then I guess I'm going to move away from the chat for just a moment. What we're going to do is we are going to take a look at a video that Miss Lippy put out. Now, What's interesting about this video is that this video aged poorly. Here's Griff here. There you are, Mr. Griff. How you doing, sir? Oh, good for you, Amber. We still got no, I don't know if you're muted. We're going to get through this thing the best we can.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you now, sir.
All right.
Okay. You're probably like me. I can just envision that you're pacing back and forth, aren't you?
Pretty much.
Yep.
I got to sit still. I got to sit still.
You got to sit still. Yep. I know me. It's when I come down them stairs, we got the old plasterboard. So when I come through them stairs and all that plumbing, yeah, it's going to cut right out. So, kind of a recap. I'm sure we missed everything you were saying, but so Doug gets a hold of you. Enter in. How did Ziggy get pulled into the situation with you and Doug?
Doug had produced a document, a CPS document. He showed it to me. I had it on email. Of course, I don't have that information no more. Like I said, I can just tell you from my firsthand knowledge. I seen the document right off the bat. He wanted to produce it. I said, why don't you put it on your show? He wanted to help my channel because at the time I was going through some detrimental issues with another monitor that basically just cut my throat, just shot me down. But anyway, that's another story. I was getting some hard times. And I said, wait a minute. I said, this don't make sense. This is a red flag kicked up. I said, this is a CPS document. It's a federal document. This person, it don't matter if it's he or she, put this document out. It's not supposed to be for our use. I said, we put this out there. That person can lose their job and it could be detrimental to the case. All these kind of red flags popped up. He said, don't worry about that. Just pop it out. And I said, no, I'm not going to do it. He said, fine, I'm going to give it to Ziggy. I said, okay.
Now,
I said,
at
good
this
luck with
point, when you say he said, fine, I'm going to give it to Ziggy, at this point, had you already had conversation with Ziggy, or was that introduction to Ziggy?
No, that was the first time. I mean, I knew her through the back and forth between her and Tiffany Marie, but that's other than that, I didn't have no clue. I had no confirmation with her, nothing, no conversation at all. The next thing I hear is that the first thing that I got from Doug was she said, oh, she's just happy because she sees how many views she's going to get. In other words, like a taunt to me, like, ha ha, look what you did. And I said, really?
That's really so she was worried about the views and not the validity of the information.
Yeah, right. In other words, it didn't matter if it was true or false, or if it could get anybody in trouble. The fact is, I'm going to get the views for this. And I said, well, that's not what it's supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about a missing child. Yeah.
And so
at that time,
go ahead.
And at that time, I was very against the wells. I was detrimental because I figured neglect was involved with the case. I was just straightly on it. And that's whenever I kept hearing you talk about the absence of evidence and all this. And I kept thinking about it. I had a moderator of mine and a subscriber of mine that kept saying, look, you're being one-sided. You need to look at this objectively. And I finally just gave, I said, you know what? You're right. I need to quit assuming that I know it and look at this from an objective lens. And I started seeing a lot more by doing that, by stepping back. I think you did the same thing as well. We started both just trying to figure out what was going on from the big side. And it just went that way. And that pissed a lot of people off. By me not being against it. In other words, I had to be against it. As long as I was against the wells, that was fine. That's what they wanted. And that wasn't right. Well, I didn't push the document. Well, next thing I know is she pushes the document. And to me, I didn't think, I knew at the point, in my mind, I knew it was a false document. There's no way in hell it was actually, but it was the one that somebody else had put out before that, claiming about the scabies and stuff like that. That's the document I'm talking about. That nobody ever seen the document, but it was put out there that the kids, that was the evaluation that was pushed through CPS, that they had documented the kids had scabies, wounds on them, such and such. I'm not going to go into detail because, like I said, it was a false document. But that's the document I'm talking about. That's the one that was pushed out. And the next thing I know,
go ahead.
She's pushing it. No, that's just she was pushing it.
Thank you, Mr. Star. So pushing it in terms. So now, let me ask you, because we spoke about this before. Because I was so entangled in the wells and all of their BS, there were so many things that I never was privy to, sometimes ever, and certainly not until after the fact. That being said, this document that you're referring to, was this document ever actually shown by Ziggy to the general public?
I wish I could tell you yes or no, because I cannot remember. I know there was a live that she put out about the document, and I do know I never watched. I remember, I can't remember the live itself because I was so disgusted with it. I don't think I ever watched it, but I remember there was something about it. But the reason why I remember is one of her moderators called her out on it and basically said out of the chat, said, Ziggy, this ain't you. You're not, this is not right. Why are you going this route? You know this is wrong. They seen red flags all over. And what happened was Ziggy had turned around and emailed this woman her supposedly her address and showed a picture of her supposed house like she's fixing to dox her. And the woman had contacted me and sent me the emails. Couldn't find it wasn't even her address, but she had the wrong information. But she was threatening her basically, and that's what it come to me. Now she's going to threaten people when somebody calls her out on the shit, and she would never answer it. She just kept, instead of answering, she would just do that again. Sort of like what happened to you. You told me about today that when you went up there and questioned her on earnings on that other channel. You know, she basically just went to accusing you of being on drugs and everything. That's the basic perception it is. There's no accountability for it. You can't call them out.
Right. Now, the way I want to pull up this piece right here really quick, and I want to move to, and we'll come back to it a little bit. And like I had said before, I'm not. My intention is not to hold you all night or anybody all night.
I understand. And I apologize about the internet too. I'm trying to.
No, I think we got a good link right now. So one of the things that drove me nuts about this information that Ziggy was throwing around, of course, I didn't know about it in real time, but when I came back to it and became privy, one of the things that completely unsubstantiated any of this was her use of the word non-conclusive. Now, I don't know if that was a tall tale sign for anyone else, but Ziggy, lean in for me, honey.
Inconclusive.
There's no such word as non-conclusive. Non-conclusive is not a word. And you guys know I love vocab. Non-conclusive is not a word that any law enforcement or child protective services worker would ever use. Ever. And it's as if the word inconclusive, Ziggy, was never in any of the documentation, because she never corrected herself, right? And so that was when I came across certain pieces of media well after the fact. That was the thing that sold it for me. I was like, yeah, no, because this is the thing. It developed to me, right? It was like I went back almost a year in time, in a time capsule, started seeing things, and it wasn't like the answers were immediately apparent to me. It had to develop for me too. So I go back and I see things and I'm like, what is non-conclusive, Ziggy? Non-conclusive is
inconclusive.
So when that happens and she never corrects that word, I'm like, yeah, no, something is wrong about that. Because I think so many people, and maybe even you, and I know me, and please put one in the chat if this applies to you. You ever talk to a police, and while you are talking to the police, you start using police words, trying to just sound like you're smart to the police, right?
Yeah.
That is what you would, that's always sort of my expectation when I see people talking about different things. It's like you start taking on the verbiage and the vernacular of, you know, the class of people that you're talking with, right? And let me come over here. we got a bunch of ones in the chat now. So yeah, like 10-4, what's your 20? Right. So that was a tall tale sign for me. Now, moving back.
Well, she also, what was to me, was just like she done you the other night. And I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
Shortly, the next live, I believe it was after the live about the CPS paperwork, is when I found out about the moderator. When the moderator got a hold of me and let me know that, or emailed me and told me what she was doing. I tried to threaten her by doxing. I went into her chat, and in her chat, I made a comment about it, and I commented about the faults of CPS papers. You know good and well them papers were them doctored up, and you're going to push it out anyway and call it legit. At that moment, I didn't realize I stepped into a big pileup, because it was shortly after that. That's when she went to accusing me of calling her house instead of, accountability, instead of showing proof of anything that it was legit or not, she went to being defamation. She went to accusing me of threatening to get her damn boyfriend deported, kill her cat, and all kind of wild shit. But that's how she operates. So that right there was my proof right there in the pudding, was that she was lying the whole time, and she knew that, but she didn't want to be called out about it. She's not the only one that's done that. When you call them out on it.
If you were on the inner part of the circle and you had if you stand in opposition to this fake CPS paperwork, she immediately went on the attack and threatened to go real life. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much, that's exactly what it was. And she did go. I mean, she threatened it. She even had somebody fake my voice, another creator, to go on and go through I mean, she literally went through great steps to try to just defame me instead of showing any kind of proof of what she had on the paperwork. It was that's what I remember now. It's all coming back. Just give me time. I'm trying to come back to it. That's how I didn't know. Never seen if she actually showed it. But as far as being factual on it, instead of being just showing the truth or proof, it was better. She would spend more time and literally had this guy create the illusion of me calling her house and leaving that message. And also these other clip channels took it and ran with it to create the illusion. In other words, it's better to create a lie than it is to tell the truth. And that's what she done. The whole time this child's life is, at stake. And that's what she was doing about it.
Thank you so much for your contribution, Queen. You know, it means the world to me. Thank you so much. So stepping back just a little bit, when you started to realize all of these things were happening and that you were for sure, because you saw the paperwork, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I seen the document that was sent to me email. I mean, it literally was sent to my email, but like I said, I didn't have the actual paperwork in my hand. But anything could be doctored up and made. But it was there. I mean, it had the CPS on it, had the seal on it, the whole 9 yards. But, it was all written. It was written
of false documents. He's just been known for that, not just in Summer's case, but in cases past as well. Mm-hmm. So when you see the document, I'm going to ask a rhetorical question, right? Because you're not saying documents. You're saying document.
I'm saying that was all I seen was that it was the page with the descriptive page. There in a documentation like that, and I've dealt with CPS before in my past. I had an ex-wife that would run me through the ringer. I know there's more than one page to every documentation that comes.
Typically.
But this was like it was set up to be the page where the description of the findings, not the court procedure. In other words, it wasn't the documentation. If you was going to court, would give you the type out of what everything the procedures was. It was the type out of every incident, and it was in square boxes, like fill in this box here. This is what was found, and then the checkoffs and stuff like that. It was made to look real. But again, the point was that there was a CPS officer that had to have written that up. That this is an ongoing case. It just don't make sense how he would have got a hold of it.
Fast R, thank you so much for your contribution. It really means the world to me. So, just to the best of your ability and the best of your recollection, was there information on this CPS document about drug tests? Was there any information on there about polygraph, any of that stuff?
No,
there was not.
No.
Okay. Now, I want to.
It pertained to the kids. It pertained to the children. Then, in essence, and Summer was included, about what they had found prior to. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because it was already stipulated by CPS that they had supposed to have had when she disappeared on the 15th, the 17th, they were supposed to be coming back out to the house anyway, 2 days after she disappeared, to do a follow-up on the previous thing. This was supposed to be, it was all stemmed off of that previous setup. This was all information they found that they found wrong with the children. That's all it was. There was nothing about polygraphs, drug tests, or anything like that with the parents. It was all about the kids.
Now, you spoke on her fabricating a call from a male trying to reenact your voice. And then it ultimately came out in the wash who this person was. Who was this person?
Well, it was Venomous Diamondback was the name. It was thrown out at one time, and then it also came out it was Levitt. That's what the information I got. Again, Levitt did come on there before bragging and make comments about me in the past too, during all this time, because he was all hooked up with him. So,
and in fact, the police, the call to the detective in Plano, where she begged a detective in Plano to put charges on me, and he's like, he's not done anything, yada yada yada. That call was recorded by Levitt Then there's a falling out between Ziggy and Levitt, and then Levitt, to some degree, published it or shifted it to someone else who published it, and now it was available widely for public consumption. Now,
okay.
to the best of your record, so we've got a corroboration about this Ziggy and this Levitt, and I think it was Venomous Silverback, wasn't it?
That's who it was. You're right. That's it.
Venomous Silverback. Okay, now,
Yeah, that was it.
when you're looking at this document, to the best of your recollection, was a name associated, a CPS worker's name associated to the document, like the author of the document?
He had that redacted.
That was redacted.
Yeah, he redacted that.
Now that's pretty interesting, seeing how.
Yeah, and he claimed that was to protect the woman. I said, "How are you? You're not protecting anybody. If this document gets out, and if it's real, it's going to go right back to that woman because the CPS is a small office up there in Tennessee. No matter what you say,
one worker that's making the document. If the document surfaces, they know exactly
who
authored the document.
You're going to have a supervisor. The chain of command is going to take over somehow if it goes back. You're going to have one caseworker on that case that's working for the Wells, and that's going to be the one that's going to be, it's going to be easy to find out.
Michelle Doyle, thank you so much for your contribution. Now, so let's fast forward a little bit. Let's play a little bit of this media here, and we'll sort of weave in and out of the media and our conversation. Now, can someone please put the great Lippy here? I'll do it. I'm right here. If you're not subscribed to Lippy, Lippy has been putting out phenomenal media her whole tenure on the internet, but some of this recent stuff that she's put up, it's top notch. It is upper echelon. This stuff really, really, really breaks down the whole Ziggy involvement. Now,
Benny, I'm sorry, Benny. Pam just brought it to my attention. I forgot about that. During all this was going on, for give you any kind of backside, we had seen a news reel from the news channel from up there in Kingsport, where the CPS had been overran. They had kids literally at this time. We had a news reel come out where the kids were literally sleeping in the office.
Yeah.
They didn't have nowhere to put these kids. So that right there was going on during all this was going on. So I mean, you got that situation, and then all of a sudden this thing pops up and it's like, it don't make sense. Why would you want any more light shined on you for a situation that's bad? Now you got corruption in the right. It didn't make sense.
And essentially unsecured children, right? I mean, it's a whole nightmare. So I have a question by one of my strongest supporters, Kaz. She says, Griff, is it the first time you were revealing the truth about Doug being the person responsible for this document?
No, ma'am, it is not. I've revealed this. Hell, I've been doing this since 2021. I revealed this in October and November of 2021 on a live, trying to bring it all out when it all come out. I mean, I brought it up several times before that. It's just, the ears have got to be there to hear it. But again, if you want to shut the truth down, you isolate the truth. You condemn the truth. You cast it to the side to where the lies will take over. And again, lies are more colorful than the truth. But that's something I've tried to push. There's many things I've tried to say out here that people don't listen to. But yeah, I've said it before.
This is Val Ventura. For anyone that doesn't know, and maybe some will, Val Ventura was a supporter of Ziggy and has seen the light. And she's saying that CPS paper thing, Ziggy made a lot of money. Now, I think that was the secondary draw for Ziggy, because at that time, she was living with Jim. Jim financed her whole existence. At that point, she also did not have custody of her own daughter due to parenting issues, substance abuse, so on and so forth. So to me, in my opinion, I believe that what was Ziggy's initial draw to this case was a feeling of affluence. She wanted to feel affluent or important to herself. This was
Mhm.
supposed to, once she realized, because when she first started all this, let's be real, she was not monetized, right? Now I don't know at what point did she monetize, but she was not monetized. So
I think a
he's-
lot of us went through that. A lot of us was trying to the word exploitation was kicked around so much during all that time, and a lot of us that was not monetized, even for got to the point to where if we put Summer Wells in our title, that we would come out and we'd make it clear that we're not monetizing this song, this video, no super chats, no nothing, because this live is for her. We had to isolate that was thrown around as a target put on everybody's back. That if you had her involved, you was exploiting her. So yeah,
Right.
a lot of us was involved with that.
Casey K, thanks so much for your membership contribution, Queen. You know it means the world to us. Griff Crystal asked here, she said, can you ask him if he knows who gave Doug this letter? It was understood a female sub of her gave it. I am curious, was Doug or Ziggy close to any Rhondas?
I don't really know. I didn't go that far into it. Maybe that's a downfall of me. Maybe I should have been a little bit more, inept to try to figure out the truth. I just knew that I was trying to get far away from it as possible. I didn't get into it. There's a lot of speculation about that. I don't know. He didn't go. Doug he had his fingers everywhere, but he's not the only one. But I don't really have a clue. I mean, and so many people were playing like there was somebody else anyway. I mean, you didn't have a clue who you even talked to half the time. So there's really no telling. The name Rhonda didn't never come up. I didn't never hear her name at all. He just told me he was able to get it from a little birdie sent it to him, is what basically that was his little way of saying it.
The ideal of the little birdie was then passed on down to Ziggy. Now, the name that surfaced in the midst of all of this confusion about this Fugazi CPS paperwork was a name Lolita. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Tell me what you know about this Lolita character.
I don't. All I know is she has been able to help. I'll put it this way: as far as I can't give you proof, because all I can do is go by hearsay what's been said. But all I know is she's helped many creators, and I'm not going to mention any names because like I said, it just that'd be me just throwing it out there. But there's smoke, there's fire. She's helped many creators out as being acting like she's somebody else. Put it that way. You basically put a
so she's sort of a serial character
to help out. And she's acting. Yeah, okay. Pretty much. She for pay. Basically, she'll go in and she'll act like she's some.
Gotcha. So let's run through a little bit of this, because this is very relevant to digging into the whole CPS thing. So just bear with me for a minute.
Can you hear me now?
Now, Don and Candace both have positive drug screenings. Wow, screening zing for crack cocaine. Yes, the YouTube creators have stated the failed drug screens for cocaine. It was actually crack cocaine. Now, I did some research. There actually is, and she doesn't know this when she's saying it, right? Because the standardized test, right, the panel test, that is not going to differentiate between rock cocaine or powder cocaine or freebase cocaine.
No, it's going to say cocaine. It's going to say cocaine. That's it.
It's a very specialized lab test that tests for particular biomarkers, which are significant only to crack cocaine. Not, and I can tell you this, with the CPS involvement due to these weirdos on the YouTube, I can tell you that is not the sort of test, at least that I was administered, right? When I was administered a test, they were testing for THC. They weren't looking for THC wax or oil or flour. They were looking for just a positive screening for THC, so on and so forth, right?
A 6-panel, 10-panel, 12-panel will not tell you that. Will not tell you if it's crack or regular cocaine. It's not going to tell you. It's going to say cocaine, period.
And so one of the things, that was one of the early things. I don't know if it was that or it was probably the non-conclusive was the thing that really led me to believe that this is all crap. But then when I hear her saying that there is a test for crack cocaine that they were given. And then when you sort of know, the rest of the story, you understand how deep this lie actually went, right? Now, there's a bunch of stuff redacted here. This person goes on to say, this is so much worse than most people realize. Redaction. They will not be getting those boys back the way the court system went with abuse. Now, this text to me starts to resemble what you call the yard dart. I think at some point it became pretty clear that there may be an issue with them obtaining or reobtaining custody of the boys, which, as it all plays out, as I understand it, they've actually been cleared by the CPS, but they still don't have their boys back. They've been put into other families, so it's finalized in that way. It's just really a cluster right now.
Well, they went from, it's like what you like this, for instance, for example, whenever when you went on vacation in New Mexico, okay, the question this is where or Colorado. Well, this is where the whole thing changed to where they were taking rumors and allegations and our assumptions and turning them into trying to make them valid actual facts, when they're not. They would say, instead of asking the question, did he really go to Colorado? Or was he in Tennessee? So that's where that gives you the room, that gives you the speculation of it. But then it went from there to, oh, he was in Tennessee. That's that's one of the example. Everything that she got then, everything everybody got, was a lot of these people did, was that would come down to, that's what this was. It's facts. This is facts. Instead of it just being a damn.
But in addition to that, Matt, I didn't mean to cut you off. One of the things that's so interesting about that is the fact that a lot of the people that started their YouTube situations on Summerwell's case, they didn't understand the power of the internet. They didn't understand that they could say things in the initial phase that would not age well once other information came out. And this was to that extreme, right? This was that, but to the extreme, right? Hey, Matt, good to see you, buddy. Kaz, thank you so much for your contribution, Queen. You know, it means the world to me. Let's move through a little bit more of this. What do I have her on? I have her on normal. Let's bump her up just a little bit. That way we're not here all night. Now, we're getting to some other stuff. I myself have I don't know anything about a guilty knowledge test. But what we are back to right here is it as non-conclusive, right? Now, again, for those in the back that didn't hear it, there is no non-conclusive, right? Non-conclusive is not verbiage that this person here would be using if it were legitimate. Not only that, but in the prior bunch of text, there were misspelled words. It's really a mess, right? So moving forward. Now, let's just go ahead and drop the bombshell. It says right here, he also did not pass the lie detector test. She's going to go on subsequently and say neither one of them passed a drug test. Now, I can tell you this. Candace's preference was alcohol, marijuana, and methamphetamines, not in that order. In fact, Don told me while I was in Tennessee that for the first, he said 2 years, but that seems like an awful long time. But he said for the first 2 years after they moved from Arkansas to Tennessee, that Candace was routinely using methamphetamine. Don, on the other hand, she's going to go on and say that Don tested positive for meth. Don is a staunch,
correct,
non-supporter. I mean, anything having to do with meth, he is so against meth that his hypocrisy completely bears itself when he loves his cocaine, but he would, he would likely murder a meth head that was up there trying to steal a hubcap to, further their high. So
he even said that about the whole place was full of meth heads whenever she just
absolutely
he pushed that on.
this information, who the author's been redacted, this person here would be the same person responsible for authoring the document that you saw that was emailed to you. Now, the document was emailed from Doug to you, right?
Right. Yes.
Now, that document, did you then forward that to Ziggy, or did Doug forward?
No, I did not.
You did
Doug
not.
had to have done that, because all I did was get a response back from him saying that Ziggy was happy for it, because it was almost like a taunt to me. He was taunting me because I didn't do it. He said, "Fine, I know. I'll give it to Ziggy." I said, "Are you freaking kidding me?" I said, "Man, this thing ain't written. You can't push this." I said, "It's gonna come back on you." No, it's going. This needs to get out there. I'm gonna give it to Ziggy because she cares about that. It was a long drawn out, like a child, like a 999. I'm gonna give it to Ziggy, and he come back and said it. Yeah, Ziggy said it. Ziggy said she's happy to do it. She's gonna go with it. She can't believe she's happy because she knows she's wondering how many views she's gonna get off of it. I was like, man.
So
next thing I know, she had it. So.
Right. For, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 months, time has really flown by, and that's really kind of blurred some of the time frames for me. But I was told by Don and Candace, Grandis, and Mr. Mullins that they all three had actually passed the polygraph test. Now, what's interesting about that is that there was some initial talk that Candace went in to take her polygraph, but was so distraught about the situation that they could not actually administer the test, and that she came back the next day or subsequent days later. I believe it was the next day. So Don, the four of them, right? So you've got, and even the PIs, because I had contact with this golden circle, it was called, right? You had the PIs, the Colberts, which was Mr. Colbert and his wife. Then you had Mr. Mullins, makes 3, Candace 4, Don 5, and then you had Grandis 6. All 6 saying they passed the polygraph, and they screamed this at the top of their lungs for 6 to 10 months. I don't know the exact timeline, but they're screaming this. Meanwhile, you have Ziggy and Doug, because I'm fully aware you did not partake in the furtherance of any of this information. They are saying that they did not pass the test. Now, I remember distinctly one of the things that really bothered me about the polygraph information was I was unbiased to it. I furthered the information that they passed it with no proof, because of because of all of the comments from the people involved that seemed it came from a super genuine place, right? So I felt like Ronnie Lawson, for whatever reason, in my opinion, may have done a disservice to the public about the polygraph information, because if you guys remember, the polygraph information was withheld from the public. There was no corroboration by any law enforcement official, i.e., Mr. Lawson, Sheriff Lawson, that they had indeed taken one or passed it. The information I felt like was compartmentalized for the Dr. Phil show. The Dr. Phil show, it was revealed. And then, well, Ziggy, you have this. You've got this whole thing here. There wasn't any wonder. I think there was thank you so much for your contribution, Spivey. Queen, you know it means the world to me. Thank you so much for your comment as well. I think there was just a small fraction or percentage of the community that believed, or not believed, but rather wondered, oh, did they pass it or not? There was the people that said yes, the people that lied on that laid on the side of innocence before guilt, which is the foundation.
What about the whenever the hashtag she's coming home? Remember me and you both? We put that out there. There was another curator. You said something. You had a video about him the other day. He basically come out. I mean, this really they made themselves look really, really dumb when they come out. Basically, making the comment that it was going to shut down the TBI investigation for a simple hashtag. When you go outside the realm, whenever you're not involved in that inner circle of condemning the Wells for some, you try to step outside of that and try to look at it with a broader scope and try to see things. All of a sudden, you become the pariah. You're the bad person. You're trying to condemn this child from because we said she's coming home.
Right.
That's basically what it turned into.
I'm seeing the comments here. I will replay this really quick. This is in regards to this here. If you see here, he also did not pass the lie detector test. As I said, she went on to say that also Candace did not pass, but was no mention of Grandma Candace taking the test, which I find interesting now at this point. So let's go ahead and play this really quick. Put a 1 in the chat if while I'm playing this, you can hear it.
I can't hear it. I don't think they can hear it, Benny.
No, they can't hear it. Give me one moment. I'm going to refresh my StreamYards. Some people are saying they can hear it. Okay, no sound. 1 second, Griff.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Let me represent. And we will go Brian Enton. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Put a 1 in the chat if while you're listening to this, you can hear it.
Dawn had something to do with this, or have you ruled that out?
We haven't ruled anything out. Everything's possible.
And right now, detectives say they are looking for a red or maroon pickup truck that may have been in the area around the time that Summer Wells went missing. But even the sheriff today said they have no confirmation that the truck was actually there. They're not even for sure it is definitely connected. There are so many pieces of this puzzle they just haven't figured out yet. But another interesting thing, Marnie, he did confirm for me today that both of Summer's parents did pass a polygraph test,
which is something I know a lot of people have wondered.
Huge information, right? Huge that they passed the polygraph. Now, they also didn't release the fact that Grandma Candace passed a polygraph as well. So it's a lot to unpack. But when you frame all of this with the ideal that with the terminology, well, that didn't age well, right? It absolutely did not age well. And the thing that's so interesting to me is that Doug, and we spoke about this a little bit, Griff, Doug clearly, in my opinion, he had an agenda. Now, Doug knows because he's worked on the internet. I hate to use the word work. He was involved in other situations with missing children and true crime far before I got involved. Like Doug was already a thing doing his thing.
Yeah.
I've tried to figure out what was the agenda, right? Like why pass this off to someone else? Now, I think part of the shade of it all was that he knew that you guys were new and that you guys would do anything in his mind, and Ziggy took the bait. You would do anything in order to gain traction and notoriety, right? Now,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
There was a lot of that. the naiveness that kicked in, not knowing better. But right off the bat, when I first got involved, I told Doug, I said, man, this kind of looks sort of like a WWF or WWE kind of deal where it's a stage thing. I did not know that he was involved with wrestling at all at the time. That was just the only thing I could come up with an example. I said, it seemed like a lot of this stuff is a prefabricated or either not so much I got the learning after that. After I made that comment to him, he said, oh, no, man, it's all, you should be real, but stay real. Well, then I got to realizing what was going on is it's not so much staging it. It's they're reading people. They're reading how people react to certain things, and they're throwing bones out there and just seeing what happens and seeing what'll stick. And you're going against people's emotions or their actual character, how they act, and they're using that shit to play you. I mean, I've had that done to me several times by other people as well, but it took me a long time to figure that out. But I guess I'm just being naive to shit, but you don't think people will do that when it comes to a child, but yeah, it happens. He would also push in the point of sharing it, play some of my old videos on your channel. That'll help promote your channel. That'll promote your channel too. Put them out there because I mean, it'll go. And the whole time I'm like, wait a minute, how is that helping my channel? But that was the whole info. It was all about the attention. It wasn't nothing again. And it depends on who wants to latch on to that. I mean, that's
I can tell you this. Sorry, Genji 777. Thank you so much for becoming a member. It means the world to me. I can tell you this, that Doug has a couple of ploys that he uses. He'll use things like, hey, you can use my content, and then at a later date, if he doesn't like, if there's a falling out, which there always is, then he can go back and strike your channel, right? The second is he's going to say, oh, well, hey, you need this and you need this. Give me your address. I'll send you a care package. As soon as
he learned a lot of that. He learned a lot of that from from someone else that we both know. And that later on bit me in the butt as well. He was just as bad. Yeah, exactly. And he was just as bad. I mean, AB was able to be used to promote a lot of bullshit apart from my friend about me, slander. I mean, and kept on ridiculing it just to make it. I still got a channel now that I don't even use, that I actually privatized prior to this happening, that him and another creator, literally every time it comes back up, because your channel can come back off of being struck down. When it comes back out, before I even get a chance to even look at it, which I don't care about it gets struck again. I get the emails every time they struck it again. They steadily keeping their foot on your neck. I mean, it's just the impulse of keeping somebody down because you didn't follow the rules. And again, he was one of the main ones too. But yeah, it's all about that.
So, I have to take a moment and say, even Griff and I have had a tumultuous past. We've been, we've been how we are now. We've been like this for about 18, 19 months, over a year and a half. And I have to tell you, of all of the things that you could have gotten involved in that would have exploded your channel, I have to thank you, Griff, for not getting involved in this portion of it, not only because of how detrimental it was, but because it shows an integrity, right? Like, yeah, we can swing swords at adults, at other adults on the YouTube, but the fact that you were like, hey, no, that's not for me. It definitely, it makes a difference in my mind, right? And I appreciate that. Now, let's go back to this really quick.
Don lied. Don lied about how much, or Don lied, first of all, about their drug screens. They did not pass their drug screens. Okay. I know this for a fact. I know they failed for cocaine. Not cocaine, but crack cocaine. Now, I cannot tell you like how they're able in a drug test to tell between cocaine and not cocaine, but crack cocaine. Now, I cannot tell you like.
Where's my mouse? Here it is. All right. Now, what's interesting is that there is some shades of truth. Now, I refuse to go back and do all of the tumultuous research to find out. I would say clearly this was made after certain dynamics of the family had been made fact, right? Because they really try to shade it in here like this is true. The two younger brothers are together and the 12-year-old is with a separate foster family. That is true, right? So in my opinion, these things either came from firsthand accounts from Don and Candace or was information that was already available, if that makes sense. And then this person sort of encapsulates their opinion with other things that are factual and then they pass the whole package off like all of this is factual, right? Moving forward.
Like how they're able in a drug test to tell between cocaine and crack cocaine, but it was crack. Say that both have positive drug screenings for crack cocaine. Both of them, Candace and Dawn. What else they were positive for sure. Okay, this is what they tested positive for. Both of them tested positive for crack cocaine.
Now, they've been under CPS investigation for a while. Candace was avoiding them. She knew drug tests were going to happen. The rumor regarding the kids were scheduled to be removed. I can tell you this, folks. When they have made up their mind they're going to remove some kids, they don't schedule it so that you can go hide them. They come and get them, right? They're not going to say, hey, today's Tuesday. How about 8 days from now? How about a week and a day from now? We make an appointment to come over here and take all your kids from you. That is not the way that they get down. Now, I was told, and never substantiated it, but I was told from different people in that community that because of the distance from the home to the office, the CPS office, that sometimes their protocol was to call ahead and say, hey, we're going to be here later today, tomorrow morning.
Well, if they're true, but if they're trying to close a case out, or they're trying to see if you've done anything, in other words, they gave you stipulations you've got to do in order to clean your straighten your house up, specific things. They can tell you they're going to be a day they're going to show up, and they're going to for the final evaluation or final look to see if you've made the improvements, if you've actually put forth the effort of doing so. They're not going to come out and say they're going to come get your kids that day, but it could be an evaluation day. But they're not going to come out and tell you what day they're going to come get your kids.
No,
as far as the dealings I've had.
Yeah, no, that's the opposite of the way they get down.
Right.
Let's move through a little bit more of this.
They both tested positive for marijuana, and Dawn also, just Dawn, tested positive for meth. Meth, crack, marijuana for Dawn. Candace, crack.
Now you can feel free to go back and read these texts. There's some interesting information, only to the degree, folks, that you're going to see the length that Ziggy went to fabricate all of this. This is a fabrication of the worst type. Now, for whatever reason, and you know, I don't want to say that it's specific to Ziggy because it really isn't, right? Like I have said the most on this internet, right? I'm definitely, you know, I hope that it's solidified to most people that I'm on a different path, right? That being said, I still feel like if I would have been the curator of this false paperwork, CPS paperwork, that I hope, let's say it that way, I hope I wouldn't be received well in the community, right? This is an extra level of diabolic, right? This is evil, right? And if you know, you know, like in my job, I'm gonna see some evil, and this is right up there. Like there's things that I've heard Ziggy say that I know to be absolute fabrications that have made the hair on my arm stand up. And you know, the interesting dynamic about all of this is that I know that there's a portion of you people in here that understand that hearing Doug's name in some of this or a lot of this is like new. It's new. And I don't know really how to feel about that because that isn't the typical Ziggy behavior, right? It's almost like she knew where the paperwork came from. It came from Doug to her, right? And then she's exposed for it being fraudulent. But I just don't feel like she ever jumped out there and exposed Doug for it. She sort of ate the L and kept it pushing, right? Which is, it's so beyond anything I can understand. Yes, Val, Doug planted a very evil seed here, right?
But see, whenever it was planted, though, that was the way it worked. So it was perfection. It worked because you shut down the only damn whistleblower that knew anything about it. The only other person he sent it to, as far as I'm concerned, the only one that actually come out and said anything, you shut him down by defaming him, to bash the shit out of him and make him look like he's a piece of crap by spreading all kind of lies because you're adding on to other lies, and it easily just you squandering it. So yeah, it was perfect. It worked to perfection. She ain't got to out nobody. She can just get, because she's got to cover herself now because she's done put out a fake CPS worker out on her channel claiming that the damn thing was authentic. So she stepped out beyond that. So now there's no really she's got it handled there.
Yeah, and you know, Doug was really good at creating scenarios sort of along the lines of this, where if it went sour on him, Doug had a great ability to make himself look like the victim, right? Oh, poor me.
Look at what happened when he had Don on his channel, and Don got arrested for running a stop sign when he was drunk, when he was on channel with that night. He set it up, was that perfect? He walked away from it. Don was the one that went back to jail. You know, it worked out perfect for him.
You know, Doug has some kind of way been the turtle that stayed in the shell. And, you know, when I said earlier in the beginning of all this, folks, I said that, you know, I had a two-pronged approach to this. Really, it's a third prong. And probably the most important prong is that I want to hear Ziggy's rebuttal. Now, we all know that's not going to happen. No. She's not going to come out here and face the music about any of this stuff, period, right? At all. And I think that probably that third prong isn't as important probably as the second prong, which was I want to hold the people that finance that madness over there. I want those people to be forced to make a decision, right? Val saw the light on her own, right? But there's other people over there that need to understand that what they are financing is madness.
And they move on to something else. They move on. They finance that madness, and then whenever that wears out, they go on to another one.
Well, exactly, Griffin. It's like how much,
and they keep that.
How much do the people have to see, Griff? How many times do they have to see her lie? Not only that, but I think that when she says that Fred is not a sideshow trick pony, he's only her trick pony, right? Only hers. I mean, she's playing the dude, and you would think that as savvy as Fred tries to pass himself off to be, that he would understand he's being played. He is a keepsake. He is a souvenir. He is a possession at best. In fact, Six Up and a couple of her T-Talk is the name. They caught the fact that Ziggy went to her grandmother's yesterday by way of Uber that I'm sure she didn't pay for. However, while she's doing all this, it comes to light she's not wearing her wedding ring. Now, one could only imagine why. I'm guessing it's because, well, grandma doesn't know that Ziggy has married a real POS, right? Who has all of this baggage that comes with him. He's on probation. He's on drug court. He's got to call every day and do XYZ. He's a thief. He's a child abuser. He's all of these things on paper, right? So let's keep him at home, but let's go to get what we can get from our family. Let me just show you this. I think that this sort of legitimizes a lot of people's concern right now. And I'm in sobriety. I am heavily involved in my sobriety. I am heavily involved in my recovery. In fact, the eve of Christmas Eve made 608 days. Today I have 12 days sober.
Congratulations.
That's a lifetime. That is a lifetime for me, right? So again, like I said in the beginning, I can if you know, right? I can only identify what I'm looking at because, well, when I used to look in the mirror, it used to look just like this.
There's enough people in here. So
That's the
I've been
problem.
thinking about taking since, and it's getting dark in here. It looks fine, though. You guys can see just fine right now. But so I've been thinking, especially for the past like 24 hours, but this whole day has been on and off. I'm not gonna be doing YouTube anymore.
Not because of the fake paper CPS paperwork, right? That's not why.
And please, like, I feel so bad. I know, like, some of you like really count on my lives and stuff like that. And
One winner later.
Oh God, here's another one. I used to be obsessed with DMX.
That's what gets me.
Watch
That's
this.
what gets me.
Watch this.
Old school.
Ziggy, maybe you're doing drugs because your mom's out of town.
Do it again. Do it again.
You want to see that again? Hold on.
You gotta do it again. Do it again. I love it. I love it.
Thanks.
Do it again.
Old school.
Sugar, booger sugar. Booger sugar.
Probably. Probably. She said, so she threatened to call my probation officer. She led, before that, she led with, well, you're acting like this, Benny, because you're on drugs because your mom is out of town. Like my folks had went to Rome in Italy, in Paris for 2 weeks, right? So and that was like 3 months ago. She says this a month ago or 6 weeks ago. I'm acting this way. I'm asking her questions she refuses to answer because she knows what answering them is going to do. So her deflection is that I'm on drugs because my mom's out of town. My mom and dad are out of town, right? So that's why I said what I said to her, like, Ziggy, I don't know. Again, folks, I don't know if she's abusing something prescribed to her or if she's abusing something. Yeah, I get this strange feeling that these neighbors that are almost like reoccurring extras in the Ziggy movie that were arguing even last night. I get a feeling that, there's definitely some interaction because she said their daughter comes over to her house to get little gifts. That's what she said verbatim. So that means you're having interaction with these people next door who have a protection order, who got some DV stuff going on. I just start, my gut tells me that there's some commerce between them next door. Now, before we wrap this thing up, I gotta show you just this one thing. I mean, it just makes all the sense in the world. And again, I don't want anyone to think that I'm drug shaming Ziggy. Ziggy, if you're having issues, like, get some help, right? Well, here she is doing what Ziggy always does, goes live when there's very pertinent things going on, like she goes live. In fact, I was watching her the other day, and I'll upload it or maybe do a short live about it tomorrow. She had 26 people, like today, 30. She had 26, alternating 26, 27. 3 of those are her Nightbot, 2 people chatting, and I'm watching this, and then bam, out of nowhere, the numbers go from 27 at its highest to 498. No extra chatters. What does that tell you?
See, that shows you people are watching it. People are watching it.
No, she bought views.
It's got to be buying views.
She bought views.
She had to.
Yep, because she never ever, Like, she never even acknowledged the fact that all of a sudden there's 500 people in there. She never acknowledged it. And she's all about the numbers, like the numbers. And
well, she always said, she also said, I guess I can start now because I got enough people in here. She says that
exactly. That's her go-to.
so many times. She's not the only one that does that, but they always say that. And that tells you right there, that's when they're pushing it.
Yep. This right here. Look at this.
Can you
This is on normal playback.
how's it going, guys? Merry Christmas. I can't talk really loud because I'm in a vehicle, but hopefully you guys can hear me. Merry Christmas, Shelly.
Now, this is what it started out like, right? It started out with this. And then it ended with this.
Hey, guys.
She goes on to say, Griff, she says in this video, she's complaining about her face itching. She's rubbing her face, doing this, doing that. And then goes on to say that the itch is actually
what that
worse
is
than an opioid itch. Yeah, opioid itch. Yeah.
Lortabs do it to you all the time. Yeah.
So I don't know what she's got going on.
She went and married a possible suspect in Summer Wells' case, man. She went and married him. I mean, what does that tell you about her? I mean,
everything.
It doesn't matter about love. The hell with that shit. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, this is all about her. And
absolutely. Oh, thank you for that.
That's why it's hard to say anything about it, because the only way you're going to stop this, the only way you're going to stop her is to not watch her. And that's what people can't do. They cannot get enough of it. They got to watch it because they're scared they're going to miss something. And that's where she's got it she's got the cojones on it.
Why pay $15 a month for Netflix, Griff, when you can watch this one spurg out and twitch herself to sleep and do her nails 8 times a week? Like, but watch this. This is so interesting. And to me, the interesting part about it is that there's 2 rings. There was a ring given by someone I know everyone knows, but I'm not going to say her name. I've spoken with her privately. She doesn't wish to talk about the situation like on a live stream, and I can respect that. So that's why I'm not going to say her name. So there's a ring that was given to her by a subscriber, or given to Fred to give to her, right? It's a diamond solitaire. That one has since become sparse. Then there's this new, just a band, right? But this video popped up, and this one here, check this out. If you're not subscribed to T-Talk, check out T-Talk. Watch this, bro.
So take a gander means to look at something really quick. Pegar un vistazo. Mirar algo rápido.
Now, that's her right hand. Hua?
No, I didn't see it back.
There's her left hand. No ring. Now, what I think it is that the video is swapped. It's flipped around, because if you can see the mole that she has, it's usually on the left side of her head, our right. This time
it's actually the driver's side of the car.
Right. She's at, and it's just flipped to look like she's on the passenger side, right? So I believe that this is actually her right hand, and that's her left hand, because there's the mole that's usually over here. So she just has zero self-awareness. And let me tell you what, it is getting worse as the days click on. Like, the more the days progress, there is just very little self-awareness, that she just, while trying to show you her horrid nails, what she's actually telling you is that, well, I'm going to see my grandma, and I'm also embarrassed about my hillbilly husband. Right? Like,
yeah.
It is what it is, right?
No, I didn't see it back.
Are those bones?
Okay. There's one more, and give me just a moment to see if I can. I watched it earlier. Six Up, if you're in the Gap, can you it was from 4 months ago. Let me just paraphrase it for you. She's online, right? She's grifting for someone to pay for her Uber Eats or DoorDash or whatever. Right before she's getting ready to sign off with this very low self-awareness, she logs into her PayPal. Here it is, right? Is this it? Nope, that's not it. You can see on her screen she's logging into PayPal, which means she's already paid for the food. It's on the way, but she's checking her PayPal to see if anyone has sent money in to reimburse what she, yeah. you can't. No, here it is right here.
Those guys. Hey, Tanya.
Looky there.
Well,
She's
guys.
about to end her live stream, and what does she do? Oh, she got to check that PayPal.
Well, guys.
That was slick
She's
there.
laughing
Good job.
about some person.
I love it for.
She's got food on the way, but she wants somebody else to pay for it, right? So, oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Very vain, very vain.
We're at 1:26, and I told you I didn't want to keep you longer than an hour and a half. I know you got a personal, private life. You have anything, comments, questions, burning desires? You have anything that you want to add to the conversation before I cut you loose?
No, I just wish the people would remember that there was a reason why we come into it. I came into this was because of the child, and it's went on and more from that to other things. But I've never changed my resilience on that. I wish that child the best. I hope that she's okay. I will always think that, and to get past all the drama. I know people love the drama. That's what they want, but it's just not for me. If you've got your feelings about me, I know I've made mistakes. Everybody knows that.
Me too.
I'm learning from them, and I'm trying to. We're going through a transition in our marriage life, and that's why we're going to do it. And we're dealing with it. We're not coping with it. We're dealing with it, and we're moving on. And it's making us stronger together, and we're happy together. Going through troubling times now, dealing with that. It's fine. It's just called life. But I still am pushing my channel as far as music wise. I've changed. I'm going back to that, and if anybody's interested, they can go check it out. It's under my name, Matt Griffin. I'm not putting any kind of names out there. It's just my name. But it's away from the drama. I mean, I still keep in touch with it. I can't help that. It's addictive. It's like being bullied, and you can't leave the bully alone. You got to keep you got to keep poking the bear. But I keep up with it just to see. I mean, again, the truth ain't always what anybody wants to hear. The lies are more colorful, and if that makes your life go by, then so be it. But I just want people to be accountable for what they do, and I think what's right is right. But I don't have to be pushing that out as far as my channel is concerned. There's enough channels out there like yours and other ones that are actually trying to pursue the truth. They just watch out for the misleading ones. There's a lot of them out there that want to try to be truthful too, but they're not. They're just trying to push their own benefit as well. But just God bless everybody. I appreciate it. And Benny, I'm glad. Congratulations on your sobriety. Hope everything works out for you. And I'll be in touch. You know where to find me. And
please
appreciate the time.
Don't be a stranger. And I will hit you up after I end the stream, sir.
No problem. Just remember, man, I always be in debt to you for what you helped me out with. You know what I'm talking about. You were there in my darkest hours, and I appreciate that, man. God
That's
bless
what we
you.
do.
You never need anything. You know what time.
I already know. Thank you, Griff.
All right, brother.
Have a good night.
No problem, baby.
All right. I've got a mosquito just chomping at the bit here. Before we close out, we need to do what we all can do as creators, right? This is Summer Wells. She was last seen June 15th, 2021 from Rogersville, Tennessee. Her hair is blonde. Her eyes are blue. Her age at the time of her disappearance was 5. Her age now is 9. Summer was last seen at her home on June 15th, 2021 at approximately 6 p.m. She was wearing gray pants, a pink shirt, and possibly barefoot. If you have any information about the whereabouts or the people or persons involved in her disappearance, please call 1-800-TBI-FIND. It's also scrolling at the bottom of the screen. If you want to submit a tip anonymously through the email, you can do that at tips2tbi@tn.gov. That'll get you in. So, yeah, she needs to be found ASAP, pronto. Now, let's go through this. I am getting hammered. It is December 26th, and the mosquitoes are back alive. Casey K, thank you so much for your contribution, Queen. Paula, thank you for becoming a member. Cheshire, thank you for gifting a membership ×2. Amber Robinson, thank you for becoming a new member. Cindy Lou Who, thank you for your contribution, Queen. You know it means the world to me. Fast Dar, thank you for your contribution. Michelle Doyle, thank you for your contribution. Casey K, thank you for gifting a membership. If anyone here received a gifted membership from one of the gals, please put a thank you in the chat. Genji 777, thank you for your contribution, Queen. And thank you for becoming a new member. I have been very lax in the past couple of weeks in putting out my members' content. I usually am pretty religious about it. I've been slacking on Rosie's channel as well. It is just full season, full tilt, full throttle, busy season in my job place, and that makes it very hard to just come home and plop out content. A lot of my evenings are reserved for processing, so and just sort of working through it. Anyways, thank you, Miss Julie. I didn't want to be one of the ones that rushed to the internet on Christmas because I had a lot of stuff going on, but been really heavy processing a situation that I was present at early hours in Christmas. If you guys don't know, there was a very tragic situation here in Terrell, Texas, where 4 individuals were found deceased in a home, and I was on the call, and it was just it was a lot. So still kind of processing all of that. I say that to say that before that situation, I spoke on the loss of my sister. And when I say check on your people, it doesn't come from a random low vibrational place. It comes from a place of experience. And now there's just an added detail to my life when it comes to remembering the holidays and checking on your people. It's not specific and isolated just to the holidays, although some people have a tendency to go through elevated levels of stress, so on and so forth during the holidays. This stuff happens 365 days a year. 365 days of the year is somebody out there suffering with the kind of thoughts for themselves that we don't want anyone to have, right? So I've been there myself, where you just feel like you are at the bottom of the bucket, and the only way up is down. And I'm here to tell you, if one of the ladies can please put my email in the chat, if you could please put a self-harm prevention hotline in the chat before we go. If you're having feelings of distress, hopelessness, despair, you're not alone, and you don't have to do it alone. There is resources everywhere, and I make myself available to anyone that is trying to balance and juggle those feelings and emotions in life. Mookie, thank you so much for becoming a member. It means the world to us. There's just so many things to be grateful for. And let me tell you what, if you check on your people, you might become a hero in somebody's life, right? You might be a hero in someone's life. Not that you need the badge or the pat on the back for being a hero, but when you can prevent a tragedy by just reaching out, you just never know. Somebody just may need to hear your voice. Somebody may just need to know that you care. Somebody just needs to have that connection with another breathing human being, right? So check on your people, right? Looking beyond. Fast Star, thank you so much for your contribution, Queen. You know, it means the world to me. It truly does. I guess in closing, you know, to the people that support the madness over there, if this doesn't show you something, I don't know what will. Then you start to deal with mental health, fractured minds, YouTube ego. You know, like, you've seen enough, right? Open your eyes. Start to hold the person you hold in reverence. Start to hold them accountable. Hold her accountable. I guarantee you, as soon as, and beware, buyer beware, as soon as you hold Ziggy accountable, you will be excommunicated from that community. And then you can come right over here with Six Up and me and the Jerks and the rest of us. You hear me? Anyways, check on your people. I love all of y'all individually. Kaz, thank you so much for your contribution. Just, you know, again, the support is overwhelming. Miss Spivey, thank you for your contribution, Queen. As always, Spivey is in the group with Casey. Like, Spivey was, I don't know, like one of my first 20 subscribers ever. And so when Spivey pops up, it's always, you know what I'm saying? It means you're hitting the right buttons. You're riding the right frequency, right? So thank you, Miss Spivey, for always being here and never giving up on me, baby. I know she was close to giving up on me, but she didn't. Paula McCombs, thank you so much for your contribution, Queen. You know it means the world to me. With that, thank you everybody for the overwhelming support. I hope everyone had a blessed holiday. Have a safe New Year's. It's coming up. It's a lot of crazies out here. They like to booze it up and hit the road. So just, you know, take care of yourself. And I can't stress it enough. Like, check on your people, because you don't want to get that call. You don't want to get that call in the middle of the night. You got to come over there and deal with something life-changing, right? Anyways, I love all of y'all individually. Remember, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. God bless you all. Be safe.